Bonjour et bienvenue to the Big 17. My name is Yara de Julio, and today's topic of discussion is opulence. Recently, I came across a video by Auburn Preach titled, "Regular People Are Beneath Them. This obsession with luxury and excess is toxic." In this video, Abba stated, "When you need opulence to be happy, my friend, you are building a castle on sand." According to Oxford Languages Dictionary, opulence, a noun, means great wealth or luxuriousness. In the context of this video or discussion, I would define opulence as great wealth. Abba's quote was very thought-provoking, and it really made me think and ask myself, honestly, am I striving for opulence because I seek happiness, and why do I desire wealth so badly? It took me some time to tangibly break down the whys of my desire and childhood factors that contributed to them. The whys of my desire. Number 1, honoring my mother, and number 2, security. As we move further into this discussion, I will elaborate much more thoroughly on the security aspect of my desire for opulence, but for now, I will address the honoring my mother portion of it. Honoring my mother. One of the main reasons I desire opulence is because I want to honor my mother, and I feel as though if I were to attain opulence in a way that is measurable, such as money or a degree, I feel like I'll be able to remain intrinsically and extrinsically motivated while knowing that I've accomplished things that have secured my future and made my mother proud. The childhood factors that led to my desire for opulence: upbringing, environment, and being raised middle class. So growing up, my mother constantly promoted the value of the highest level of education and investments. Although we were middle class and seemed to live comfortably, my mother understood and expressed that being middle class was the potential of living. It wasn't the full extent of what life could be. At the time, my mother had an associate's degree in nursing and was starting her own healthcare business, but she was not granted the same respect as her counterparts in the nursing field because of her level of education. Hence why she not only went back to school to further her education, but she also pushed me to exceed her expectations and invested in cultivating my mind. In elementary school, I remember I wasn't allowed to watch TV, eat sweets, or play on the computer during the weekday because my mother wanted to nurture my mind and draw out my gifts. This proved to be very effective because during my second or third year of elementary school, I was transferred to a private school. And in this school, the majority of my counterparts were Caucasian, Jewish, and Latino children whose parents were doctors, lawyers, stock investors, brokers, and business owners who took their education to the highest level they could and invested their money. When I saw how those people were living, I realized they were the ones that were truly both financially and mentally comfortable. They held money to a standard where it was both a disposable and valuable resource. With this exposure to what education and investments could do for an individual and their family, I was ready to take on any and every sacrifice I'd have to make in order to not necessarily assemble a life of my own that was luxurious, but a life of excess, a life of true comfort. Some people may think that being middle class is an indefinite spectrum that promotes a comfortable life of normalcy. This belief is half and half because if you view working and surviving enough for the next paycheck with the luxury of a few weekend trips here and there and being able to cover basic necessities as enough, then yes, middle class can be comfortable and it isn't as indefinite as one would think. But when you realize that being middle class is 2 steps away from poverty and 5 steps from wealth, you'll understand why I side more with no. Middle class is not comfortable, and the way that the spectrum of being middle class varies makes it a danger zone that creates more anxiety than security. I say this because when you are at the very top, you have more plush to fall into, but when you're just in the middle, you have enough plush to not feel the impact of the ground. To me, that doesn't sound very secure. When taking into account my childhood and what I was constantly exposed to, I understand that I strive for wealth because I desire security. I desire the comfort in knowing that I made the right decisions and that my sacrifice during my youth is accounted for every time I look at my accomplishments and the opulence I have attained. Merci en pile for listening to my discussion on opulence, and don't be afraid to weigh in the comment section about your perspective or your opinion on this discussion. I'll be more than happy to read them, and I'm always open to constructive criticism, so you are more than welcome to leave your critiques in the comment section as well. Once again, merci un peu, nawe pita. See you later.